Hello, it's New Year's Eve of 2019 and I just finished a finish, so I thought I would make a quick FlossTube episode just to show you what I've been up to and do a very brief plans for 2020. So, because I film these in one go, I don't always have pictures of everything, but I will try to link the stuff I talk about below so that if you're interested, you can look it up. So first, my finish. This is called Rudolph, and I can't show you a picture of the package because it's a download. And that download is on the same device that I'm currently recording on. I did make some changes though, and I can talk to you about them. So here it is. Oh, let me see if I can get a board behind there without tipping everything over. There we go. So there he is. Some, I guess, not necessarily minor, but also not too major changes. All the red and then the grays within the rocket, not including the jet stream. I did them with the DMC Étoile sparkly thread. It's not really, let me see if I can get it to focus a bit better. It's not really showing up, but now the DMC Étoile, each of those threads corresponds to a regular DMC number. So the red I think is 666, and then the gray, one of the grays was 415. Now the chart calls for a different set of grays, so that's why the strap holding the rocket on isn't as differentiated from the rocket itself as it might otherwise have been. But I like the sparkle, so I kept it. And then the other big difference is I didn't realize that this sort of postage stamp border, sometimes there's a gap of two, on the chart, sometimes there's a gap of 2 stitches between each bump, and sometimes there's a gap of 3. And I missed out on that, and I only realized it once I was about halfway through. And I decided to just kind of keep going and fudge the corners. So that's what happened there. And that's my last finish of 2020. Nope, not yet, 2019. There we go. I'll leave the information below as to who the designer is and so on. This was stitched 2/2 on something that I will also mention below because I can't remember off the top of my head. Another project that I've been working on quite a bit in the last few days is this Lanart Maria von Scharrenburg kit. It was hard to, ooh, that's glare. Let me just take this out of the bag. It was hard to get a hold of. I think I bought it on eBay or something. I don't know. But there's what it's supposed to, can I unglarify it? Shadow. Sorry. My front window is right there. And I've got the curtains pulled, but I face pretty much due west, and it is evening now. Let's see. There you go. So it's a little baby in a shell, and it's going to be a birth announcement. Let me take that glare away from you and show you the fabric, which will not glare as much. I'm just stitching this up according to the, like exactly with the kit, with what is supplied in the kit. And this will be a birth announcement for my niece, who is a little bit over 1 by now, which isn't too bad for me. I really like this fabric. It's an even weave of some sort. And it's just, I don't know, I really like stitching on it. It's soft, but it doesn't move around a lot, so it's not difficult to work with. The needle is massive, the kit needle. And now that I've started stitching with it, I don't want to change it up. But I managed to close in the circle that goes around the moon. Oh, you guys, this is bad. That light is so weird. Sorry about that. Can I get it to behave a bit? I don't know. There we go. Okay. Sorry, it's a dull, but at least you can see what's going on now. You can see the top of the baby there. There's a pearl, there's some seaweed. The seaweed kind of curls around the circle made by the moon. I finished stitching the moon itself. And then what I did was I worked over to the side of the chart and then started working my way up and over again. So that was quite a bit, and I was having a lot of fun working on that. And then I came across a mention of Whip Go 2020. So Whip Go would be whip for work in progress, and Whip Go as in bingo, Whip Go. So what you do is you create a bingo board type of situation where you've got 25 squares, and then you list 25 projects you'd like to work on and goals for each of those projects for 2020. And then you work on them. There's a Facebook group involved. So if you're interested, you could search for WhipGo 2020 and it explains it more fully there. But she's already chosen Jessie Marie Seitz, I think her name is. Again, link below. I'm pretty sure she has FlossTube. She runs it and she has chosen with a random generator 2 numbers. So once you create, and this is where I wish I could insert a picture, but I can't with the software I have. So you create a bingo board, and in each square you've listed one of your whips and what you would like to do. So some of mine say things like complete 500 stitches, or finish, or complete 3 motifs, depending on the whip and how far along I am and what I'd like to do with it in 2020. And so she's already used a random generator to pick the numbers for January. And those ones fell on 2 of my charts that I haven't touched in a long time. So here's O Canada, True North, Strong. It is a Jeannette Douglas Designs chart. And these are all stitched in silks. And I did go ahead and buy the silk package. I'm pretty sure I got this from 123 Stitch. My goal for January is to finish this top section. So everything, including the border, above my fingers. And you'll see a little bit of it is done already. I'm a little bit, oh, and here are the silks. So I put them on cards, but just really beautiful, deep colors. And I just took like pieces of a box, a cardboard box, and punched holes in it and wrote the symbol and the color name beside. Now, the chart calls for stitching, it's a 32 count lentil. I think I got the call for fabric. You're supposed to use 1 strand of silk for everything. But to me it looked too thin, so I went ahead and used 2. So we will see if, I mean, that's doubling the thread usage, right? So we'll see if I actually have enough silk to complete it, or if I buy another kit. I hope not, because it's super expensive. I gridded this a long time ago with silky silver sliver black thread. It's kind of a plastic thread, so when you stitch it doesn't separate, so it's easy to pull out after the fact. The variegation in this one is just amazing. So far I've got a beaver, a bear, a Canada goose, and a totem pole, and there's this border begun here. Totem poles are, now if I say something incorrect, I hope someone will correct me in the comments. From what I understand, totem poles can be a very sacred thing to some of the First Nations on the coast of BC, British Columbia. But from what I understand, you can have totem poles that are sacred and special and have deep meaning and shouldn't be photographed or imaged in some other way. And then there are totem poles that have more accessible meaning, I guess, and are meant to be shared. And so, yeah, there's a totem pole. So I've got a ways to go to finish my goal for January, but I'm looking forward to stitching on it. So I guess I'll have, there's kind of a mirror image thing going on here, although this looks like it's meant to be maybe a grizzly bear on this side. And then there's this flower motif. We'll see, and the 2 maple leaves. We'll see if I get to this bar here, but at least that much I would like to complete in the month of January. So just quickly put that away. If I don't, it'll never happen. But I do have one more chart that came up on my Whip Go, and it is Beatrix Potter's Christmas tree. And I do not mind stitching, pardon me, I do not mind stitching Christmas stuff throughout the year. Excuse me. And I love the way this really does have the watercolor effect going on. And I have stitched a bit on here already. My goal with this one is to stitch 500 stitches. So I'll have to somehow keep track. Oh, the thread came off the fabric. Got a garbage pile there in the corner of the living room. I've already done some of the back stitching. If a motif was complete and I didn't have to worry about butting up next to it with other stitches, then I backstitched, and I remember feeling like, wow, it just came to life. So you've got these squirrels in the background who are kind of washed out by the camel light. But there's these squirrels, there's the beginning of a mouse, it's the tail, some shadows, and there's a robin, and I've begun the tree, and there's Jemima Petal Duck. So 500 stitches, I don't know, it sounds like a lot, but I know that 500 stitches also won't finish the project, and that's okay. At least I'll make a decent amount of progress. So I'm looking forward to stitching those in January of 2020, and we'll see. I guess it'll be a good, I'll be able to gauge what I'm actually capable of doing. January isn't, now knock on wood, but January isn't too busy in school, at work, relative to, I guess, what I just went through. So, so maybe I'll actually have time to stitch. Stranger things have happened. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around, all the subscribers that didn't leave when I didn't post for, I think it was over a year. And I know there have been several new subscribers lately, and welcome. I'm so thankful that you joined. If you've enjoyed what you watched, please hit like. If you're not subscribed yet, you're welcome to subscribe. And I wish all of you a happy new year, if that's what your calendar is dictating at this point. And we'll see what 2020 brings. Talk to you next time.